Hey guys, Jiu Jitsu here today. I'm going to go over a couple good attacking options from side control. So side control is a great pinning position. It's always, well, usually the first position that you end up in when you pass the guard. For some people, especially from white to blue belt, they find that they feel safe staying in side control, safer than it is trying to ride the mount or forcing the back or north-south or changing positions anywhere from just hunkering down on that side control. So it's a good position to learn immediately as you're coming up through the ranks how to attack from there, because you're probably going to be there for a while until you trust yourself in other positions. So we're going to go over two different kinds of Americana locks from there. So if you are new to Jiu Jitsu and don't know what an Americana is, it's essentially a shoulder lock where the hand goes backwards in this direction, as opposed to a Kimura lock that the hand goes backwards in this direction. It's essentially doing the same thing to the shoulder, as it's twisting it until all of these attaching parts bind up, and it's going to put a lot of strain on that shoulder. And hopefully it doesn't get there far enough, but it will pop the shoulder. So we'll show a couple different ways to hit it, and also on both sides of the body. So for the sake of this demonstration, we're just starting from a typical standard orthodox side control, where I've got underhook on his far arm, underhook on his head, grabbing a gable grip here, sucking my chest to his chest. You'll notice that my one knee is up here high by his shoulder. You probably can't see from that view, but my other one is down by his hip. And I'm bringing my butt down low, okay? So just a note on side control itself. I don't want to have my butt up high like this, where I'm taking weight off him. I want to come down low, spreading my base out wide, so I become very heavy on his chest. I'll feel a lot heavier than I actually weigh from this position, pinning him chest to chest. So from here, we've got a nice solid side control. I've decided that I'm going to attack this arm that I've isolated over here with an Americana. What I'm going to do is unhook my gable grip here. The one that's underhooking his arm is going to grab at the shoulder right here, cupping it. And this one is going to slide along the body like this until I catch just before the elbow right here. At this point, I'm going to switch my hips into scarf hold or kesagatami, this direction. Staying heavy through my ribs on his chest, again, pinning him in this position. It's a very hard position to get out of if you just want to hold somebody here. So this is good because you've got a bit of a stopping point that you can work on controlling to get to the lock now. From kesagatami, I've got this grip. I'm going to slide it up again until I can find his wrist, and then bring my hand around the inside. Once I've got the inside here, I'm going to force it down. I don't want to force it wide like this where it straightens his arm. I want to make sure it's at that 90 or more angle on his elbow, forcing it this way. If he tries to straighten it, I'm keeping it pushed in, okay? Bringing it down. Now here's a trick. I'm going to use this leg that's on the ground to bring it up over top of his wrist or a little higher, right here. That's automatically going to put a lot of strain on his shoulder because I have a fulcrum on my leg right here underneath his shoulder. This is a lot more bent than it looks, so go very slowly with your partners when you practice it. If you want, you can just try to drag this foot backwards to get the finish, or if you want extra torque, you can bring this one over as a triangle and then lift your hips into it to get the finish. All right, our second variation is going to be the far side over here, but I'd like to pay some attention to the control that I'm going to have over this arm before I do it. The thing about side control, having a good solid base, is most of my base is on this side of his body. Okay, I have very little actual weight being dispersed from this center line of his chest that direction. For good reason, because the more I put my weight over on that side, the more tippy I become, and he can start lifting me and rolling me and reversing the position. So I want to stay heavy on this near side. So how am I going to attack this arm without moving my weight in a way that's going to put me in a bad position for reversing? This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to have this same position here. We're nice and controlled, cupping the shoulder again. This time when I slide back like this, I'm not coming underneath the elbow. I'm coming over top in a C grip, right over his bicep. Now I'm going to move this knee out of the way and then replace it over top, stapling his arm. Okay, so my knee and my foot are like stapling down over top of his arm. Now I can move my weight safely past this center line, way over here. If Alvin tries to buck me at this point, his body is stapled to the ground over here, so I feel a lot heavier than I am as far as weight dispersion is concerned. Now I've already got my underhook over here from this typical side control we were in. We're going to keep that. This one's going to come over like this. and I just slide it flat like a piece of paper in between my shoulder and his arm, and then flip it this direction, pinning this hand to the ground. I need to keep this elbow on this side of his head. It can't be over here like this. I'm going to keep it over here like that. Now I make a figure 4 grip, grabbing my own wrist right here. To finish here, I want to point out, I could just twist right here, but look at how much twist I get before there's any sort of tap. I could put myself out of position, especially if he's bucking around. What I want to do first is put maximum tension on that joint that I'm going to attack by stretching it this direction. Everything locks up and gets tight right now. All of the ways that the shoulder moves are tight and under strain, so it takes very little twist now to put that into an effective joint lock. So you pull all the way down, keeping heavy weight, pinning his wrist to the floor, and slowly lifting your arm to lift his elbow off the floor to get the tap there. So there are a couple easy ways to hit an Americana from side control that both have a great amount of control involved leading up to the submission. And that's something that you should always try to find when you're going for submissions, that you have maximal control and isolation over the body in general, but the joint specifically before you ever try attacking it. These will work really well for you. They've worked well for me in the past, and I hope you like it. Try them out. Drop any comments if you got any questions. Make sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.